Hello and welcome to Divine Astro. Today we are going to discuss primarily the marital bliss, which becomes with the part of time to the kind of misunderstanding, and finally it takes the turns of divorce or separation. To understand this, in the astrological chart analysis, we are going to see what combination literally brings a kind of, what you can say, disrepute, or you can say like a kind of misunderstanding in the couples or the marital partners. However, that doesn't brings any kind of separation or divorce, and the combination which brings the much anticipated, what you can say, like a divorce or a separation. To understand this more, you need to check this primarily in the Lagna chart, that is your D1 chart, and your Navamsa chart, that is your D9 chart. Before we can discuss to all, we have been going through these videos and you find this resonating to your thoughts and well-being, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. That gives me the kind of motivation in bringing much of the new content which brings a greater amount of opulence to all your well-being. With that, let's start the very first of the analysis. Well, in your D1 chart, if you open and you see primarily Sun and Moon conjunct in the 8th house, and in the planetary chart of your D1, if there is some way the Mars or Ketu has also the aspect over Sun and Moon. Okay, either Ketu or Mars, any of these two. What it happens, like whenever you are going to see any kind of antardasa, pratyantardasa of Sun, Moon, or with Sun in combination with Moon, or Moon with combination of Sun, you are likely to see much kind of heated arguments, heated debates. It could be even bringing more into a kind of people not been talking to each other over a period of time. That is how it does brings into. However, this kind of heated arguments or debates never take so into a sour turn, bringing to the much kind of separation or divorce. Well, the second thing which I want all of you to go and check in your Navamsa chart, in your D9, if it is for the woman, it is primarily the Venus. If the Venus is been placed in the 5th, 9th and in the 7th house. If it is men, the Jupiter, if you go and check, if it is placed in the 5th, 9th and in the 7th house, it is a kind of steady and a strong Jupiter and a Venus. Often this brings a greater amount of grace to your relationship, your marital bliss. That is how it does works. Now, the percentage of getting for anything of separation and where you can say like divorce is been nullified. That is the reason why I stated. Now, what it does brings a kind of divorce. If you don't have in the combination the Jupiter and the Venus in your charts in the 5th, 9th and 7th, and in particular whenever the dasa of the 8th house comes into place, and in particular the Sun and Moon are either one of them or if both of them, well, then that is a sure shot. When it is been placed in the primarily into the kind of nakshatra of the 8th house lord, whenever the 8th house dasa comes into place with Sun and Moon as dasa, as pratyantar dasa and in the antardasa, it does brings the kind of separation. That is a sure shot. If it is a kind where it is been in the nakshatra of the 8th house lord, that is going to bring into. Or if it is likely also, if along with Sun and Moon, if there is Ketu, okay, and again as I stated, it is in the nakshatra of the 8th house lord. If the Ketu dasa does runs, and in primarily if you see the Sun and Moon which are comes into the and the pratyantar dasa or into the kind of antardasa, there you are going to see the kind of divorce. What is the remediation? The only the remediation is for this is like in the Thursdays, okay, or primarily in the Saturday, Thursday or Saturday. Try to go into the temple that is absolutely the no kind of what I would say, like where you see the linga, where the no visiting the Shiva's temple, Ma Parvati, wherever you see in the Pratimurti, there you go and try to know for like no as possible, as much as possible, try to be in that day, try to visit the temple, worship Parvati, and in particular try to donate in the terms of food in the Amavasyas. That brings a greater kind of well-being. Why? The reason I am stating that because of no, it is the doing something on that, so that no brings a greater amount of like opulence to your Ketu. So likely no, whenever if by certain the no Jupiter or the Venus Antardasa comes in between, while the no main dasa which is been going of the 8th house lord, it will bring a kind of healing. It could also bring about like something which is going for a separation, that might even stop it before like you can even go into a kind of discussion and can amicably settle it up. I hope this brings a kind of like respite to all the couples, those who have been heading for a divorce or something. I hope this brings a kind of understanding to all of you. Cheers.